People's personal unsolved mysteries. One morning at 4:40 a.m., this man received a call from a blocked phone number. And when he answered, all he heard was the person on the other end repeating, "Car won't start. Car won't start," over and over again. Well, he hung up, and since he works at 5:30 in the morning, he decided to stay awake. He didn't think much of it until he was leaving for work, got in his truck, and you guessed it, the car wouldn't start. It could have been a prank, or somebody he knew messing with him. But he says it still gives him a weird feeling. To this day, nobody knows who made that call. Dumbest things people got in trouble for at school. When he was in 5th grade, his teacher was making his entire class write Mother's Day cards. Well, he's been at this school for 6 years, and everyone knows that his mom walked out on him and his dad years ago. Well, I guess the teacher forgot, because when he refused to write a Mother's Day card, she got incredibly mad, and this kid was suspended. Most dangerous toys of all time. These are snap bracelets, and I'm sure everyone has seen these before. Well, in 2012, a large batch of cheaply made snap bracelets were recalled because the metal in the bracelet was wearing through the fabric and cutting the hands of many kids. They have since improved the design, but every so often, this still happens. So be careful. Craziest ways people got rich. Dong Nguyen is an app developer, and he had a couple games on the App Store. Well, in May of 2013, he uploaded a new game to the App Store, Flappy Bird. I'm sure you've all played this game before. He uploaded Flappy Bird to the App Store, and for a few months, it didn't get a lot of attention at all. Till one day, Dong Nguyen saw a tweet, and all the tweet said was, Flappy Bird. And just like that, word of the game spread. It started getting more and more downloads, and more people were leaving reviews and tweeting stuff about how hard and addicting the game is. By the end of December that year, it was number 80 on the App Store. And then in January, it was number 1. He was making $50,000 a day from the ads that popped up in the game. But then he started getting incredibly depressed. He was constantly getting calls for interviews. People were tweeting at him because the game was too hard. Some people even mailed him death threats. Eventually, he got to his breaking point, and he took the game off the App Store. He must have made bank because $50,000 a day is insane. Secret rooms with scary backstories. A man bought a new house. He discovered a hidden door on the floor of his pantry. He went down there and found this room with a desk, a working light, and an ashtray. Here's a similar story. A group of college students lived in a house on campus. They were convinced the house was haunted because cabinet doors were left open and they were hearing strange noises at night. And behind a secret door in the basement, they found this room. There was a double bed, student textbooks, and photographs, all belonging to somebody named Jeremy. They changed the locks in the house and left Jeremy a note outside saying he's no longer able to live there. Now this last one's very creepy, but before I show you it, I found this app that shows you everybody that goes and lurks on your social media profiles. There's even a section that tells you who they think your crush is. If you want to find out who your crush is, go right here. And this one. One day they found this room and it looked like somebody had been living in there. There was bed sheets, blankets, freshly opened snacks, and every single item the family had go missing. Craziest ways people made a lot of money. In 2001, a man named Byron Reese secured a North Pole address in Alaska. He then launched a website called santamail.org. This website allowed parents to get Christmas cards from Santa mailed to their children. Business was frickin' booming. And in 4 years, their sales reached over $1 million. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When he was in middle school, there was a thing called late bus passes. If your bus was late, you'd get this little yellow pass that would allow you to go into class late without an absence. Well, one day, this kid realized that one of his teachers had a stack of late bus passes on her desk. And when she wasn't looking, he took all of them. He would sell them to kids for $1 each. And this pass allowed kids to skip the first class of the day without an absence. In total, he made $500, but things started catching up to him. The teachers were getting suspicious, and one kid snitched to the principal, and everything was shut down. Black markets kids used to run in their schools, part 1. A teacher posted this story on the internet. At the school she used to teach at, the cafeteria did not season any food, so everything tasted bland. Well, one kid got a brilliant idea. He would buy bags of salt and pepper packets and sell them to kids in the cafeteria. He charged 50 cents for 1 salt and 1 pepper and made hundreds of dollars in his first month. But then the school shut him down, and kids went back to eating bland cafeteria food. The dumbest things people got in trouble for in school. When this person was in 4th grade, her teacher had a reward system, where if you didn't disobey or break any rules, you could pick out a gift from something called the goodie bag. And she was always a teacher's pet, so she loved the goodie bag. Well, she said that one day in class, one of her peers started crying and getting upset in front of everybody. Well, she felt bad for her classmate, so she got up and walked over to her to help her feel better. The teacher didn't like that. She said she was wrong to move without asking her, and that week she wasn't able to get a prize from the goodie bag. Market's kids ran in their schools. Followers sent me this story about her brother. When he was in 7th grade, him and his friends were working a garage sale for one of the friends' grandpas. When the day was done, the grandpa said they can take anything they wanted from the garage sale to keep. Well, this dude picked a George Foreman grill. He decided he was going to start taking it to school. He would then use that grill every day to toast his sandwiches at lunch. And then he started doing it for his friends. And after a few weeks, everybody wanted their sandwiches toasted. So he had an idea. He would charge people $1 to toast their normal sandwich. So kids would come to lunch with their ordinary cold sandwich, give him $1, and he would toast it. Business was booming. Until one day his dad got a call from the school office saying he needs to come in. When he got there, he saw his son sitting in a chair with the grill on his lap. The principal said he could not be doing this anymore and the George Foreman grill had to stay at home. Well, his dad challenged them. He asked them, where in the handbook does it say students can't grill sandwiches at lunch using a George Foreman grill? And they couldn't find it. So he was allowed to keep the grill at school. He made about $1,000. Until the next year, in the handbook, it said students can't toast sandwiches in a George Foreman grill. This kid's a legend. My favorite comebacks, part 5. Let's dive right in. Here it is. Hey, yo, Kyle. What's up? Just so you know, nobody likes you, bro. You're freaking weird. Do you eat your cereal with water? No, why would I do that? That's interesting, because I heard your dad never came home with the milk. You better... Dumbest reasons people got in trouble at school. When this person was in 5th grade, he got bullied a lot by his classmates and his teacher. Well, one day in class, he was just playing around with his pencil, kind of bending it and tapping it on the table, and it accidentally snapped. But the thing is, the snap was very loud. The teacher just glared at him and said, "Why did you do that?" He told her it was an accident. But she made him write a note to his parents telling them what he did. He had to title the note, 25 Reasons Why Pencils Are Good. And his parents had to sign it. Weirdest products ever sold. This is a nose stylus, and it was invented to make multitasking more effective. These are flip-flop metal detectors. It makes a loud noise when you're walking over something made of metal. Honestly, that's pretty sick. This one is a finger fork. And honestly, it's pretty self-explanatory. Finger, fork, finger fork. This one's weird. It's a hamster-powered paper shredder. You put the paper in the top, a hamster runs on the wheel, and it shreds the paper the hamster will then use as bedding. This last one's super weird but kinda cool. Really quick, I found an app that lets you go live even if you have 0 followers. Tons of people have gotten famous from this app. Go right here if you want to get it. This is a cutting board bread feeder. You can see there are holes in the cutting board, so when you're cutting bread or other snacks, the crumbs fall down and into this tube, which then leads to the bird's food dish. I actually kinda like this one. Black markets kids ran in their schools. The swim team at this girl's high school was having a fundraiser. They were selling lollipops to raise money for new equipment, gear, and to fix stuff around the pool. Well, this girl had an idea. She figured out where you could buy the same lollipops online, and she discovered that they were super cheap. So that's what she did. She ordered a bunch of boxes of them, took them to school, and sold her lollipops for just a little less than the swim team was selling theirs. Business was absolutely booming. Everyone was buying her lollipops, and nobody was buying the swim team's. She made absolute bank. And unfortunately, the swim team barely sold any, so they couldn't get any of the new equipment or gear they wanted to. But that's business, baby. Black markets kids ran in their schools. Follower submission. When this kid was in middle school, him and another kid were into martial arts. They wanted to start a business. There were other kids that they knew that did kickboxing. So this was their idea. They started a fighting ring in the bathroom every day after recess. He said that their fighting ring had similar rules to UFC. So like I said, every day after recess in the bathroom, they had fighting matches. And people could come and watch. They charged people $15 to watch a 10-minute fight. Once they collected the money of everyone that wanted to watch a fight that day, they would close and lock the bathroom doors, so the kids that didn't pay couldn't get in. Luckily, this kid said that nobody was seriously injured during these bathroom fights, just some occasional bruises and soreness. Well, one day, somebody snitched, and him and 3 other people got suspended. They made bank, and after the fighters got their cut, this kid walked away with $400. Black markets kids ran in their schools. A follower submission. When this kid was in 6th grade, he asked his teachers if he could get paid to clean up gum from under desks and chairs. They said sure. So he was getting paid $5 every time he cleaned up gum. Well, the principal found out about this and asked him if he could clean up the gum from under the tables in the lunchroom. He said sure. It was a nice little side hustle. But then he had a brilliant idea. He was gonna start selling gum. So he started buying these packs. This one's only $5 from Target. It's 8 packs with 15 pieces of gum in each pack. That's 120 pieces of gum, and he sold each piece of gum for 50 cents. He was making $60 after selling one whole thing of gum. But here's the kicker. Every time he sold somebody a piece of gum, he asked them when they were done with the gum if they could put it underneath desks or the lunchroom tables. So he would have to clean up the gum more often and make even more money. Weird things kids did in school. This one teacher shared her story. She teaches 4th grade, and one day she was having all of her students clean out their desks. While the kids were cleaning, she noticed one of them having a tough time and acting kind of suspicious. So she went over there, and it turns out this kid had been collecting snails from outside, putting them in his desk and trying to breed them. I guess he'd been doing this for a few weeks. The snails ate through all of his workbooks, papers, and were trying to escape to other kids' desks. She said it was a nightmare. Black markets kids ran in their schools. At this one kid's high school, there was a kid that would always wear black. He kind of had a gothic type style. He looks like the quiet kid, if you know what I mean. He always carried around a giant duffel bag. Nobody really knew why he carried it around, and people were scared of him. Till one day at lunch, a student saw this kid open his duffel bag. And inside of it, there were 3 12-packs of canned soda, Coke, Sprite, and Voltage Mountain Dew. Turns out, this kid was just selling goods. He would sell that soda every single day, and he would pretty much sell out. And when more people realized that it was only soda in the duffel bag, his business grew even bigger. When he ran out of soda, he restocked and sold more. One kid found out later that the reason that he was doing this was because his family was struggling with homelessness. And this business he ran in school was to help his family buy food. Mad respect. Worst things people did as kids. One day after middle school, he had gotten home, and there was a couple hours before his parents came home, so he wanted to make himself a snack and watch TV. He boiled some water, threw some hot dogs in there, and sat on the couch. That's when he got a phone call from his friend. His friend asked him if he wanted to come over for a little bit. He said sure, so he left. But he forgot about the hot dogs on the stove. When he got back home, he realized he forgot about the hot dogs, so he turned the stove off. But then he noticed that his mom's beloved parakeet she had for years, which was in the kitchen, was lying dead. Turns out, the Teflon from the pan releases a poisonous gas that's lethal to birds. He killed his mom's bird. When his mom came home, she saw the dead bird, immediately started sobbing and went up to her room. She didn't come out for 3 days. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. He started his business in middle school. He would buy a bunch of snacks, keep them at his house, and every day bring snacks to school in his backpack. And when lunch started, he would go to a lunch table, lay out all the product, and people would come up to him and buy stuff from him. Business was frickin' booming. He started making $60 a day, and then that turned into $90 a day. Here's some pictures of money his customers gave him. He was nicknamed the Candy Man. One day, a teacher saw a bunch of students looking at his bag. She came up to him, asked him what was in it, and before he could answer, she had already dumped everything out and saw bags of Takis, money, and candy. She took him to the principal's office. He got a 3-day suspension. Pictures that don't have an explanation. Here's a tire around a tree, but the biggest question is, how did that tire get there? You can't simply just pull it up. Weird. This picture was taken of a family at dinner, and at the time, these 4 were the only people in the picture. But after the photo was developed, they noticed this. Here's a nice picture of 4 friends just hanging out, but there seems to be an extra hand. Look closely. Right there. Whose hand is that? And this one. Here was a woman standing where the plane hit on 9/11. She was on one of the top floors, and apparently, she survived, but no one knows how. Black markets kids used to run in their schools part 2. Somebody posted about this that happened at their old elementary school. Apparently, these kids were selling their parents' jewelry for ice cream money. For example, one kid took his grandma's engagement ring, brought it to school, and sold it for 50 cents, and then used that 50 cents to buy ice cream. This is a life hack that you need to know about. Okay, so I used my friend's HBO Max account. I was trying to watch the Euphoria finale, and then I realized he changed his password, which is kind of annoying, but then I came across this. Listen up. Type downloader.world in your browser. It'll bring you right here. Download the app, and when you open it up, if the movies and TV shows don't show up right away, type 777 in the search bar. And bingo, tons of movies and TV shows you can watch immediately. There's Euphoria. Do what you will with this information, but it was a lifesaver for me. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. Every day, this kid wakes up at 5:30 in the morning and goes to Dunkin' Donuts, where he buys 2 or 3 dozen donuts every morning. He brings these donuts to school, and during lunch, when him and his friends are sitting at their table, masses of people will come running to him, asking for a donut. And he sells kids donuts. $5 for one, which is absurd. But for whatever reason, these kids are spending $5 a donut every single day. And he always sells out. No one's ever snitched on him, and this business is still running. He's made a couple $100s. Sarah, what happened? Take me home, please. Are you gonna eat? You haven't even touched your food. I'm not hungry. Listen, we have to talk about this. You slapped the principal of your school in the face 3 times. What is going on? I didn't do it. Then who did? Something made me do it. I don't even remember how it happened. How do you not remember, Sarah? You're lucky she's not pressing charges. It was the pineapple. Excuse me? It was the pineapple. It had to be. They had to have done something with it. That girl Marissa brought one into school that day. And then this happened. God, not the pineapple thing again. Jesus Christ, Sarah. First, the pineapple shows up on the stairway and trips you. Now, it made you slap the principal in the face. I'm not crazy. Something is going on. I'm going to sleep. I'll see you in there later. Sarah, it's 3 a.m. What are you... What? I've gone over these details again and again and again, and there is just no explanation as to why any of this is happening. There's gotta be something here. I'm not crazy. I can't do this. I called Dr. Stevenson today. We have an appointment tomorrow morning. We'll figure this out. I'm glad you guys called me. I understand you've been having a very tough time. Well, thank you for fitting us in. So what do you think? Is there something that we can give her, or, like therapy? Well, I recommend therapy to all of my patients, but there is a new medication on the market that I think could really help your wife. I can write you a prescription for it. No, I will not be taking any medication you give me. I am not crazy. Sarah, please, don't silence me. I am not crazy. And I sure as hell won't be taking any strange medication that this man gives me. You want to be that way? Fine. I'm taking all my stuff and I'm staying with my sister. Until you can figure out whatever the heck is going on. I have got to get back in that school and see exactly what those kids are doing with this pineapple. Sarah. This kid went to a private school, and it was a rule that students were not allowed to have their phones on them. Well, one day, the vice principal bursts into one of these classrooms, and in a panic, he says, "Quick, I need to use someone's phone right now. Somebody please help me." The students were like, "You can use mine, Mr. Johnson. I have one too, you can use it if you want. You can use mine, Mr. J." Turns out there wasn't actually an emergency. The vice principal wanted to trick their students into revealing that they had their phones on them. 10 students in that class got detention that day. That's bogus. Funny ways, kids got payback. One day in elementary school, this kid's planner was taken by one of his classmates, and that classmate wrote, "You suck," all over his planner. Well, he didn't like that. "You're gonna pay for this." A couple days later in that same class, this kid noticed that the kid who wrote "You suck" on all of his stuff left his planner out on his desk. So he took the planner, and in the calendar portion of the planner, on a bunch of random days, he wrote, "You might die today." When the other kid saw this, he was a huge baby, and he started crying. "Did you do this, Kyle? Am I gonna die today? Miss?" He snitched, and he got our dude suspended for 3 days. Black markets kids ran in their schools. This kid went to a pretty small school, so everyone knew each other. Well, between 3rd and 4th period, in the boys' locker room in the gym, people held a fight club. You had to know somebody to be able to get in. They even had weight classes. The most popular and entertaining match they had was 2 130-pound skinny kids fighting one 300-pound held-back 20-year-old. The fights got pretty intense, but everyone knew when to hold back, because nobody wanted to come to class with ripped clothes or a bloody face. There was even a referee for these events. The people who organized this fight club were making bank. But there was also another service. This one kid had a very nice camera, and he would record these matches in super high quality. He would then take these fight recordings and put them on the internet, and the only way people could watch them is if they had a password. So now these guys are running an actual fight club and basically a streaming service to watch the fights if you couldn't be there. Crazy days for sure at this high school, and nobody will ever forget it. Weirdest things teachers confiscated from students. At one middle school, teachers began to notice that boys were bringing a pineapple to class. They didn't think too much of it, but they started getting suspicious. The teachers then realized that this was the same pineapple that was being passed around from kid to kid every day. Well, one day a teacher walked into the bathroom and saw a group of boys worshiping this pineapple. Thank you, pineapple, for everything you've done for us this week. I really appreciate you. Kyle? Thanks, Billy. Pineapple, I love you so much. I asked Stacy to the dance and she said yes. I know that was your doing. You're really amazing. Greg? Thanks, Kyle. I wish that Mrs. Greenwood gets sick or falls down the stairs and breaks her arm because I really don't want to take the math test today. Pineapple, pineapple, we love you, pineapple. Pineapple, pineapple, we love you, pineapple. What in God's name is going on in here? I'm taking this pineapple. You three can go to the office. You have no idea what you just did. The worst college roommates ever. This girl was randomly assigned a roommate her freshman year of college, and she did the following things over the course of the semester. One day, she caught her roommate laying naked on her bed, shaving her body, and when she asked her why she was doing that, her roommate responded by saying, "Your side of the room has a window, and I need the light to see what I'm doing." What? Her roommate would also steal her jewelry and wear it all the time. And when she noticed her roommate wearing the jewelry, her roommate would say, "You can't prove this is yours. Show me a receipt and I'll give it back to you." That's just shady. One day, this roommate also put a line of duct tape down the middle of the room. She said, "You can't pass this line unless you're entering or leaving the dorm." Well, one day, as this girl was leaving class, she noticed a pile of her clothes and stuff sitting in the middle of the quad. She freaked out, grabbed what she could, and went back to her dorm. She asked her roommate, "Did you do this?" She said, "Yes, because I found one of your socks on my side of the room. To teach you a lesson, I put all of your stuff in the quad, so it could easily be stolen." That's crazy. Weird things that happened at a friend's house. This one kid had this friend that he would hang out with all the time. He would often hang out there during dinner time. But the thing was, he was never allowed to eat. "Alright boys, dinner time." They would make him sit at the table with the family, but they would never serve him a plate. He never understood why. "Hey Mr. Stevens, do you think I can have some food tonight?" "No, Kyle, you know the rules." "Can I be excused then to go watch TV?" "I said you know the rules. You sit there until we're done." I am so hungry. I'm sorry, man. Honey, this lasagna is fantastic. Oh my God, honey, thank you so much. I worked really hard on this. You're missing out, Kyle. This is delicious. Dumbest reasons people got in trouble at work. This guy worked at a sandwich shop and they sold pre-made, pre-packaged sandwiches. Well, this job didn't pay very well. He didn't have much money. Because of that, he couldn't afford food. And that week, he only had a can of tuna and a few almonds. Well, this day at work, the managers and the crew threw out a bunch of perfectly good pre-wrapped sandwiches. Our dude was incredibly hungry. So when he thought nobody was looking, he took one of the sandwiches out of the garbage can and he ate it. Well, the manager saw this, and this is what happened. "George, come here." "Yeah, what's up?" "I saw what you did. I know it's so gross, I'm sorry, but it was still in its wrapper and I was just really hungry." "I don't care about that. What you just did was stealing." "Stealing? What do you mean? They were in the garbage." "Shut up! Shut up! You stole from us, and I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna have to fire you." "What? Are you serious? You stole products from us, and now you're fired. Get the heck out of my store." Fired for stealing a sandwich they threw away because they couldn't sell it to customers. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When this kid was in 8th grade, he put Shrek's face on a dollar bill and photocopied it. He made tons of copies. He would cut them out and bring them to school. And kids in lower grades were coming up to him asking if they could buy one Shrek buck for $1. And business was absolutely booming. He was making hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And Shrek bucks became the new school currency. Students would trade their Shrek bucks for food, for services, stuff like that. Well, eventually the school caught on to what he was doing and he was shut down and suspended. They took everyone's Shrek bucks and destroyed them. When he got back to school after his suspension, he found 5 Shrek bucks in his backpack. He pulled them out to show a few of his friends. Well, when people saw this, they lost their minds, and secret bidding wars happened. One kid whose parents were super rich gave him $300 for one of the original Shrek bucks. He eventually moved schools, but in total, he made over $1,000. The worst things teachers have done. It was the middle of November in Minnesota somewhere. This kid was in 6th grade, and one of his teachers gave him a detention. Well, the school day had ended, and this kid was sitting in that teacher's classroom, and she wasn't gonna let him leave until 7:30 p.m. Miss, can I call my mom to let her know where I am? No, be quiet until 7:30 p.m. Then you can leave. Okay. 7:30 p.m. rolled around and detention was over. He then asked, I can go home now? Yes, detention is over. I hope you learned your lesson, Billy. Okay, yeah, I did. But can I call my mom to have her pick me up at least? It's snowing really bad outside. Billy, no phone calls, no rides home. You're walking to your house, okay? Think of it as a part of your punishment. Are you serious? I will see you tomorrow. What is going on? So he walked 3.5 miles home through a blizzard. She had gotten fired for what she did. Weird things you need to see. This picture was taken at a DMV. Look at that lady. She's wearing a pasta strainer on her head. Why? I came across this strange video of ants circling a rock. It looks like they're summoning some kind of demon. They're definitely up to something. The way the sun was shining on this motorcycle left a very interesting shadow. Or should I say foreshadow. The shadow looked like a person sitting in a wheelchair. That's kind of creepy. A girl and her friend were walking through an abandoned house, and in the basement, they saw these things. Some real serial killer vibes. I don't know what the fuck this is. A bunch of people pretending to be farm sheep? I wish this video had sound, because look at this lady right here. She definitely lets out a really nice bah. And lastly, this is a picture of a house party in the early 2000s. Is that Marky Zuck doing a little dance? Look at him go. Black markets kids ran in their schools, a follower submission. When this kid was in middle school, he was pretty popular and he was a funny kid in his class. Everybody liked him and everyone respected him. He never had any beef with anybody. And because of this, people were constantly telling him their secrets or who they had a crush on. That's when he had an idea. After he felt like he gathered enough information from people, he ran a business. He sold people's secrets and their crushes to anybody who would pay. And business was booming. He charged a couple dollars to share someone's secret. He charged $5 to tell someone who that person had a crush on. He was making decent money. The people who bought the secrets from him never snitched on where they got that information from. But the teachers and students knew somebody was leaking this juicy info to people. He eventually stopped because it was getting too risky. And in the end, he made $900. Crazy things that happened in high school. This story took place back in the day. When this guy was a freshman in high school, his school had this thing where during lunch, if you brought trash to the lunch attendant, they would give you a dime per piece of trash. Well, this kid did it religiously. Every single day during lunch, he would gather as much trash as he possibly could and he would bring it to the lunch attendant at the end of lunch. Well, because he did this, he was bullied very bad. People were constantly calling him names, smacking garbage out of his hand, and laughing at him. Hey, look, it's Trash Boy. Hey, what's up, Trash Boy?
Trash Boy, you stink. I bet you eat garbage for fun.
I hate you, garbage bitch.
He was also a hustler outside of school as well. He was brutally bullied for years, until his junior year. That's when he used all the money he saved from the trash, mowing lawns, and his other side hustles to buy a 1966 Mustang. Nobody made fun of him ever again, and all the girls wanted him to take them for a ride in his brand new Mustang. Greg! Marissa, hi. Mrs. Greenwood didn't show up for class today. Do you think... Greg! Hey, Billy. Mrs. Greenwood wasn't in class. That's what Marissa was just saying. Do you think it was... Surely nothing bad happened, right? All we did was ask the pineapple to teach her a lesson. I don't know. All I know is that we don't have to worry about her right now. Greg, I know that this pineapple situation is crazy and we both don't know what the heck it means, but like, what do you plan to get out of all this? I want to be important. And right now, the only thing in my life that shows me any type of respect and power is that pineapple. Hey, Greg. Chad, hi. Where's your pineapple? Where's your best friend, the pineapple? Shut up, bro. Jack told me that you make out with it when you get home every night. Is that what you do to the pineapple? Do you love that pineapple because your parents never showed you any love? Freak. Good morning, students. I am coming on here to relay some very sad news. Mrs. Greenwood got into a car accident and she passed away. There will be some teacher changes and things will be happening, but I'm so sorry. Oh my god, we freaking killed her. We killed Miss Greenwood. You guys, what? Stop it, you don't know that. Let's just ask, okay? Pineapple, pineapple, we love you, pineapple. Pineapple, pineapple, we love you, pineapple. Pineapple, may we ask you a question? Did you have anything to do with Mrs. Greenwood's death?
The fruits of your labor will come from this fruit. Sarah Greenwood is the first of many.
Alrighty, kids, I'm sure you're all feeling a little upset by Mrs. Greenwood's passing, but we do have a new special teacher that will be teaching this class for the remainder of the year. Everyone, allow me to introduce you to Mr. Greenwood. He thought that the perfect way to honor his wife would be to teach her class and teach the students that she loved so much. Have a great day, everybody. Hello, class. Greg. Marissa. I have a feeling you're going to teach me just as much as I teach you. That's so messed up. He knows. He knows. Yo, what the heck is going on? This is crazy. The school dance is next week. I have an idea. You're a loser, Greg. We're gonna kill two birds with one stone. The dumbest rules parents had their kids follow. When this girl was in high school, her parents had this very strict rule. Alright, love you guys, I'm going to my friend's house. Okay, don't forget the rules. I won't. The rule was this. She had a curfew every night, and for every minute she was late after curfew, she would be grounded for a week. So if she was 2 minutes late coming home, she would be grounded for 2 weeks. Well, one day she was stuck behind a train. Come on, come on, come on. It was one of those long trains. You know what I'm talking about. Well, it was passing for 10 minutes, causing her to be 10 minutes late, Marissa. Do you know what that means? You were 10 minutes. Honey, please, I got this. No. 10 minutes late is what? 10 weeks. Excuse me? 10 weeks. 10 weeks, very good. You're grounded for 10 weeks, now get to your room. Oh, God, I hate them so much. Stupid rule. What the heck? What's a pineapple doing in here?
সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে পড়ি।
সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে আমার ক্লাস 9 এর পোলাবেনও প্রেম করে।
মামা মায়া তো অস্থির। এক্সকিউজ মি আপু, এক্সকিউজ মি, আপনার নামটা যদি বলতেন একটু।
শুনেন বেন সাহেব, আমার বন্ধু জিসান, ঠিক আছে? আপনার বান্ধবীরে শুনুন। মারি নাই তো, শাসন করছি। ভালো লাগে না, একটু মারতেই পারি। কিন্তু খুব খারাপ হয়ে গেছে। তুই রবিল নামে সুন্দর একটা রিক্সা ডাক। ভাবি ঠিক আমার বন্ধু জিসান দেখতে, প্লিজ ভাবি আপনি একটু নেন, প্লিজ ভাবি। দেখেন ভাবি ফোন তো ধরে না, আবার কল দে। এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা?
যে কোচিং এর সামনে যে গুন্ডাটা দাঁড়িয়ে থাকে, আমার তো মনে হয় পড়াশোনা সব বন্ধ করে দিবে।
আমি তোর প্রেমের গল্প সাকসেসফুল না। আমার কথা বিশ্বাস কর।
আমি শুধু একটু প্রেম ভালোবাসাতে, আমি শুধু ওরেই চাই বাবা, আমি শুধু ওরে পাইলে হবে।
ওকে, আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি। আচ্ছা, আপনার কাছে একটা প্রশ্ন।
কি রে মাম্মা, কই রে তুই? কতক্ষণ ধরে দাঁড়ায় থাকবো? কনসার্ট তো শুরু হয়ে যাবে। তাইলে তো বন্ধু রীত লেগে গেল। আরে বেটা এত লাফাইস না, যেরকম শুনতেছি পরীর মতো এরকম করলে তো বেটা যা।
পারলে তো ভালো, দেখা যাক কি করে শালা। বোবা, হ্যাঁ কথা বলতে পারো না? বেআইন সাহেব,
আসসালামু আলাইকুম বিআইন সাহেব।
এক্সকিউজ মি,
বলে দিবেন যে আমার বন্ধুর সাথে যেন ভালোভাবে প্রেম করে, নাইলে কিন্তু ঝামেলা আছে। যেদিকে তাকাই তোমায় দেখতে পাই, কিচ্ছু ভালো লাগে না। বন্ধু, তুই যদি রক্ত দেস ভালো লাগে না রে দোস্ত।
না দুলা ভাই, আমি তো কোচিং এ যাই নাই, আমার তো বাসায় গেস্ট আসছে আর আমার আম্মু তো একা, এজন্য আমি যাই না।
আমার পড়াশোনা সবকিছু বন্ধ করে দিবে, তখন আমি কি করব?
আরে ছাইরা দে। কি করবি? চেনা চেহারা না হলো কি চেহারা, কথা তো বেশি চেহারা ওজন বেশি।
আপনি না শুই না না দেখা সব জানা ফেলছেন বাবা।
রক্ত লাগবে রে।
রক্ত?
আসবো না মানে?
হ্যাঁ তাই তো শুনলাম।
আসবো না, ঠিক আছে দেখতেছি ব্যাপারটা। যাও।
কি রে, তুই কোচিং এ যাস না কেন?
দোস্ত আমি কোচিং এ কিভাবে যাব বল? এই গুন্ডাটা যে আমাকে ডিস্টার্ব করে, তুই দেখতেই তো পারছস, ডেইলি আমার পিছনে লাগে থাকে।
আমার ভালোবাসার গল্পটা অপূর্ণ রয়ে গেল।
গলবে, পাখির মন গলবে, এমন মন্ত্র দেব।
এভাবে রাস্তাঘাটে একটা মেয়েকে উত্তক্ত করে আর নিজের গায়ে রক্ত দিয়ে
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা?
যে কোচিং এর সামনে যে গুন্ডাটা দাঁড়িয়ে থাকে, আমার তো মনে হয় পড়াশোনা সব বন্ধ করে দিবে।
আমি তোর প্রেমের গল্প সাকসেসফুল, আমার কথা বিশ্বাস কর।
আমি শুধু একটু প্রেম ভালোবাসাতে, আমি শুধু ওরেই চাই বাবা, আমি শুধু ওরে পাইলে হবে।
ওকে, আমি আপনাকে ভালোবাসি। আচ্ছা আপনার কাছে একটা প্রশ্ন, আমার তো অনেক ভয় লাগতেছে দোস্ত, এই যে আস্তে আস্তে সব মানুষ জানবে, তারপর আমার ফ্যামিলিকেও জানাই দিবে, আর আমার
এন্ড বেস্ট অফ লাক ফর ডক্টরশিপ। আমি দোয়া করি তুমি যেন একজন ভালো ডক্টর হও।